In this video, we're going to make a couple thrusters. We're also going to make it a little explosion and code it to work on our orange enemy. And I will leave you with a little challenge at the end to add the explosions to your player and your shooting enemy. So let's get to work. Welcome to video 13. I know we talked about in the last video doing sound and audio, but it seemed a little backwards to do sound of explosions and shots but have no visual representation of the explosions to go along with them. So I switched it up. We're going to do the visual effects aspect of it today. We're going to animate some engine thrusters for our ships and create a multi-sprite explosion sequence when our enemies are destroyed. So let's get started. For the thrusters, it's going to be real simple. We're going to create a particle system. So go ahead and click on your player controller, right click, or player controller, click on your player game object, right click on it, and in your list we're going to come down to effects and then particle system, and right now it's going to kind of look like this. And so let's go ahead and name this particle system to we'll call it engine trail. So we're going to go ahead and move this down on the Y by minus 0.5, so it's showing up a little bit behind our ship. And now let's start tweaking it. So over here on the right is our particle system settings, and let's see, right now it looks like some odd little snowstorm. We want it to look more like a thruster for a ship. So what we're going to do is we're going to set the rotation. I think the X is going to be where we want it to be. So we're going to go with 90 on the X. And then our start lifetime, which is down here, this guy right here, is going to be 0.3. Our start speed, we're going to leave it at 5. Our start size, we're going to make it small, 0.2. Now, our start color, let's go ahead and click on that white bar there. Let's come up here into the orange family over here. We're going to go something probably like that. Let's see. We can close that. Our simulation space right now is local. I want it to be set to world. This is important because this means the particles are going to stay where they spawned as the ship moves, which will create like a true trail look rather than just moving rigidly along the level with the ship. Our mission module we're going to set to 30, so come down here in this tab where it says a mission. We're going to set rate over time to 30. That way it splits out more of those. And let's see. I think the next thing we're going to need, we can close that emissions module, is going to be the shape. We're going to leave it at cone, but I'm going to set the angle to 10 to kind of narrow it up a little bit. And the radius, instead of 1, I'm going to make it 0.1. Now, as we look at the ship, let's click on this. We can zoom in on it. 0.5 looks to be a little bit far. We can probably close that distance for us. Let's go with 3, 4. So 0.5, 0.4. There's not really that much of a difference, but now we got a little bit of an engine trail. Let's click on player and click on overrides, then apply all. Now what we can do is we have 2 different types of enemy ships. We can just drag those out into our scene, and we can duplicate this engine trail and then drop it on them So that's the one for the shooting enemy. Let's go ahead and move that over to the shooting enemy. And we're gonna want to 90 in the positive for that. And if you want, since it's an enemy, you can adjust it to make it a little bit of a different color, something like that. And then we can apply that to that enemy. So click on shooting enemy, overrides, and then apply all. And then if you wanted to, you can repeat the process to the orange enemy. I'm going to go ahead and delete the shooting enemy, and then just kind of look at, see how that looks in our game. So there we got our nice little trail there. There's the orange enemy, and there's the shooting enemy with his trail. So all that works out really well. Everything's going good. Where's my mouse? There it is. Alright, with our thrusters built, it's time to build our explosions. So let's go ahead and press Control S to save our work. In our art folder under effects, we have this little explosion sprite. Go ahead and open that up. So by default, yours is going to be closed with the arrow pointing to the right. But if you just press that arrow right there to open it up, you'll see 5 sprites that go along with it. Go ahead and just drag those 5 sprites into our hierarchy. It's going to prompt you to create an animation for it. So let's go ahead and click on our assets folder, then click on our animations folder. We're going to name this explosion underscore anim, and then press save. What it does is it puts them all into an animation right here, right? And while we're here in our animations folder, we have our controller, right, which is going to control the actual animation of it. And then we have our animation, what's going to actually play. Right, so if we look at our scene, we run through and we play it, we should see it play, hopefully. See, and there it goes. Alright, so let's click on our animation though, under the animations folder. See this right here? Let's click loop time, because we don't want it to explode forever. We want it to explode and then disappear, and then we'll delete it from our scene later. In the hierarchy where it says explosion 0, we're going to go ahead and change that name to explosion prefab. And then after that, it's going to be time for some coding. So go to your scripts, right click, create mono behavior script, and we're going to name this explosion. Give it some time to think and do what it's got to do, and then we're gonna drag this over onto our explosion prefab. It's gotta do the loading thing. There. Now I can drag this over and we can open it up and we can get to coding. The code for our explosion is very simple. In our start method, we're just going to tell it to destroy itself after 3 seconds. That way it frees up some memory and we don't have just a bunch of invisible explosion animations that are done with just populating our game and crashing it. Alright, so next thing we're going to do with that saved, we're going to go ahead and did save that, right? Yeah, I did. Alright, with that saved, we're going to go ahead and take our explosion prefab, drag it into our prefabs folder. Then we're going to go to our scripts and open up our enemy script. We'll go with the base enemy for now. And I'll show you how to implement it, and then you guys can implement it on your own with the shooting enemy. So let's see here. What do we want to do first? Let's go ahead and add our headers and our reference for the explosion prefab. So that's what we got right here. We have our header, visual effects, and then a reference to the explosion prefab as a game object. Now we're gonna go down to our on trigger 2D method, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna replace our if health is less than or equal to 0, and what we're gonna replace it with is, well, not really replace, we're gonna add this line here. And so what this does is it's telling the game that if the health is less than or equal to 0, then you're gonna create or instantiate the explosion prefab at the position, the transform dot position, so the position of this enemy script based on the rotation of it, of itself. So now to hook this back up in Unity, let's press Control S to save. We're going to drag out our orange enemy here. And you're going to see that the explosion prefab is set there, or not set there, but the slot is there. So we're going to go and grab our explosion prefab and just drop that off in there. And then make sure our orange enemy is still selected. Up at the top, we're going to click Overrides, Apply All, and now we can delete this. And if we click on our orange enemy, we should see the explosion prefab as we do there. We can remove the explosion prefab from our game scene, and let's press play and test it up. And there's the explosion. And 3 seconds might be too long, so I'll probably have to adjust that. Alright, before we end this video, just a few things that I noticed. One is this explosion is really small, so let's go to our FX folder. Let's go down to our explosions. We're going to do our normal thing. We're going to type in 32 pixels per unit. We're going to change our filter mode to point and just press apply there. So that will should increase the size of our explosion. And there we go. Now you can actually see it. 3 seconds is a little long, so I'm going to drop that down to about 0.5 seconds. And that should delete it pretty quickly from the scene. That way it's just not lingering, but still fast, still long enough to recognize or acknowledge what happened. Let's see. There we go, that's better. In the next video, we're gonna go ahead and start adding some audio. We'll add some music and some effects for the explosions and for the shots. I want to leave you a little bit of a challenge though, and I want you to try to add the explosions to the shooting enemy and to the player. The process is really basically the same thing. I'll go over in the beginning of the next video how to add it to the player, but the shooting enemy is literally the exact same thing. You just gotta apply the code in the right spots. So until then, keep learning, keep building. I'll see you in the next video.